Okay, it's recording, so go ahead and start when you feel like.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Thanks, everyone. We do have a quorum, so we'll get started. It's May 15th, 2023. This is the US special meeting, review of candidates for the Girdwood Housing and Economic Stability Advisory Committee. The Girdwood Board of Supervisors, its committees and subcommittees are subject to the Alaska Open Meetings Act as found in Alaska Statute 44.62.310 and Anchorage Municipal Code 1.25 meetings. The Girdwood Board of Supervisors operates under the Girdwood Public Meeting Standards of Conduct. I call this meeting to order at 6:02. I'm Brianna Sullivan, co-chair, Parks and Recreation and Cemetery Supervisor. Also in the room on my left.
Guy Wade, Fire Department.
Jennifer Wingard, Roads and Utilities.
And online, Amanda.
Amanda Sassy, Public Safety Supervisor.
Thank you. And Mike will be online or in the room shortly. So I'll acknowledge that when he comes. Are there any disclosures tonight? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move to, go ahead.
I would like to disclose that two of the candidates are supervisory level of Alyeska Resort, and I am an employee of Alyeska Resort.
Thank you, Amanda. Do you find that that is a conflict for you?
No, they're not my direct supervisors.
And you have no financial or private interest?
No, I mean, they pay my wage in that they're like the general manager of the hotel. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, I could either rule or we could ask for a motion that Amanda participates in the voting and discussion.
Did you read her the?
I didn't. I could read the disclosure, but I don't find that this is a conflict of interest for this committee.
Great.
So that is my ruling. If there are any objections, please say them. Okay. Any motion to approve the agenda? May 15th.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Amanda.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. Any objections? Go by assent on that. No objections. Agenda is approved. Announcements. The public is encouraged to ask questions and provide comment. Please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. To help discussions stay productive, please direct your comments to the board rather than other members of the public, and keep your comments focused on the business under discussion. Please be respectful of everyone's opinions. Number 1 on the agenda is review and selection of candidates to serve on the Girdwood Housing and Economic Stability Advisory Committee. And we'll go right into that. We have been mailed from Margaret the applicants and their names and experiences that they submitted by the due date. And we could go through any comments that anyone has or questions, and then do the procedure that I'm vaguely familiar with the last time we had a subcommittee nomination.
I have questions about the process.
Okay.
So we're going to, looks like we need to.
Oh, for the record, Mike is here on the phone.
Read them.
So Mike's joined us. Thank you, Guy. Go ahead.
Looks like we're gonna choose 7 tonight.
Yes.
And so after we make our recommendations and we vote and come up with a list of 7, does this go anywhere else or is that it?
I mean, does it go anywhere?
Does land use look at it? I mean, does it, is it?
No, not to my knowledge or what we have planned. And if Margaret wanted to speak to that, you're welcome to.
I think you got it.
Okay. Mike, do you have anything to say that now that you're on the meeting for number 1?
I'm afraid I missed the earlier comments. I heard the very end of Guy's comment. So nothing.
He was just having a semi-process question about number of people, and the number was 7 as it was published, and where it went from here, but it rests with GPOS.
I do have one more question.
Go ahead, Guy.
These are just the nominations that you received. They haven't been vetted for if they qualify under the.
I just passed you everything that I received, yes.
Thank you for that question.
And I have a question too.
Go ahead.
I'm reviewing the minutes from the last meeting. I thought I remembered that we kind of said 5 to 7, and then rather than getting caught up in the whole thing, we agreed to keep it flexi based on what came in. Looking at the minutes, it says approximately. Does that mesh with everybody's memory?
It does match with what I recall, Jennifer. So we decided on 7 so that we wouldn't be having something like 9 or something small like 5. So we chose, I think, that number in the middle.
Okay.
And I didn't know how many we had until today.
Because it seems to me like we might end up having to discuss that.
Right. Any other thoughts from the board?
My recollection is that we said 527 and we didn't make a definitive decision on the number until we'd seen the applications. So I think
You cut out, Mike, but I think we heard what you ended with.
Yeah, I think I agree with Jennifer. I think we agreed on 5 or 7. So that was the approximate size it would depend on what applications we got.
Okay. And I think whatever I had chimed in with was that if people are absent, it might be nicer to have the larger number than the smaller in case people on that committee were absent from that any number of meetings. As schedules get complicated, the more people that are involved. Yes, Jennifer.
Another question.
Yes.
And it ties in with Guy's question. The other thing that I remember from the discussion was that I thought, again, and I'm not seeing it in the minutes, but I thought we agreed that they were going to be residents. That we wanted residents. Does that match with other people's? Yes.
So this is where things got kind of, this is where it mattered whether it was going to be a subcommittee of land use or if it was a committee of TBOS, right? Because the rules are different as far as the voting rules are different in land use than they are for TBOS. So when we posted it, we posted that people had to be eligible to vote or even registered to vote in the Girdwood Valley service area. And so that makes them residents.
They're registered to vote.
Registered to vote in the Girdwood Valley service area.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Have we confirmed that all of our applicants are registered to vote in the Girdwood area?
No. We've passed on all of the people who were nominated.
Okay.
I think, my opinion, I think that if they've read what it was and they put their, if not, then that can be discovered afterward. It's not going to be that big a deal.
Respectfully, I think we have at least one name on this list that doesn't. And then if we can eliminate people who might have missed that. I mean, I don't think anyone's trying to, I just think it might not have been totally clear. And also if you read it as eligible to vote within land use, for example, or if you just misread that at all, then eligible to vote for land use is different than registered to vote in as a Girdwood resident.
Yeah, but I mean, just kind of says right on there what I think what was sent out, right? So,
Yeah, but I think we have at least one name that doesn't belong.
Thank you, Jennifer. I was curious about the qualifications as well, but I didn't do any, I did not have time to dig into that today. So I think we could go ahead with our nomination process. How we did it last time was really smooth for the HHAC committee. I don't recall exactly how that went. I think one of you had us all tallies. Margaret or Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, one way you could do is you just give us your nominees. And then we can write them down and see who flushes out and give you the top 7.
Okay.
That aspect.
Any other comments from the board in that process?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jen.
I would like to challenge Jim Stanford. I'd like to know for sure that he is a Girdwood, registered as a Girdwood voter, or I think he should be removed from our list of considerations.
Okay, so it could be contingent upon his voter registration.
Well, I think all of them should be contingent on voter registration, but I guess I'd like to be super clear on that. I'm not open to people changing it to be on this item. I want them right here and right now to be eligible Girdwood.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't have time to dig into this either. I mean, all of us got this today, so and today was crazy, I'm sure, for other people as well. So I'm sorry about that, but yeah.
My suggestion could be that we have a motion that our nominees would be contingent upon their voter registration location, and then the next person would be bumped up if there was a need.
Okay.
If anyone would like to.
May I so move exactly that? And Colleen said it.
Yes. That is the motion on the floor then. Do we have a second?
That's it.
Okay, thanks, Guy. Any discussion on that?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it that they are registered to vote in Girdwood, or does Anchorage count as well?
The comment was registered in Girdwood.
Okay.
And the reason I think for this is because it could be controlling tax funds. This power could be giving recommendations on how GBOS uses residential taxes to fund housing initiatives.
Correct. I think we have to be super careful about keeping our.
Okay.
Best.
So the same rules, the same rules as PSAP, which ties directly to our public service, our public safety, local powers.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Thank you for that. Could we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Brianna,
Yes.
Mike Edgington,
Can I just confirm what we're voting on?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
The motion is to have the nominees will be contingent upon their voter registration location. So if there's one in the top 7 that isn't, the next one below that will be bumped up and replace them.
Mike Edgington,
Yes.
Guy Wade,
Yes.
Jennifer Wingard,
Yes.
Amanda Sassy.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Any other items before we have our nominations? I'd like to thank everyone for applying and sending your information and your interest to serve the community and donate precious time and your knowledge, because it means a lot, and there was a great bunch of people. So that's incredibly helpful. And it also makes the process a little more challenging for everyone here to choose. Okay. Could you start with someone else? It's not me.
Sure. Okay.
Can I just ask a question about process? So are we naming 5 people, 7 people? I suggest we start off naming 5 people and then continue after that if there's ties. It might be simpler, but I'm okay if you want to do 7.
Doesn't matter to me. Starting with 5 and then.
and then we'd have a second round if there are ties beyond the first, if we have a problem with getting top 7. But I'm open to other opinions, obviously. If someone has a preference for doing it different ways.
I don't know, I kind of prefer 7, but I guess
That's good.
I just see some really good candidates there. And, I think 7 is a good number. I wouldn't like it to see it go over, but that's could be up for discussion.
Okay. Anything else, Jennifer?
Yeah, I have a question for the board on whether or not we're comfortable jumping right into this or whether or not there's any discussion, and in particular, the discussion that seems to leap out to me as a possibility is having a quick talk about the role of the resort and how much of a seat at the table the board thinks is appropriate. I just like to hear people's thoughts, I guess, before I vote, because as I looked over these candidates, that was the thing that jumped out at me. So I'm just curious what the board is thinking.
Any immediate thoughts that respond to Jennifer, Guy?
Of course, I've thought about it too. And, these 7, 5 votes, whatever, all carry the same weight. And so, I do see the resort as continually building employee housing, and one of the biggest, taxpayers and people who work here, employers and developing employee housing. So I don't think they should be excluded from this committee, it kind of makes sense to me. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Guy. I'm sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
Thank you. I think that we have had trouble bringing Alyeska to the table, and I think that having them on a board would be potentially super helpful.
Thanks, Amanda. Any other comments?
Yeah, I do have one comment. So this is an issue that's occurred at a new municipal level and other locations. When we put together, when we give a little bit more guidance as to what this board's doing and how it should operate, I think one thing that'd be worth considering is to make sure that anything has to pass by 4 positive votes. So even if only 4 people turn or 5 people turn up on a given day, I think there's a risk of having, especially if we have multiple people with very similar interests, that you end up with a super minority, isn't it? In theory, 4 people can turn up to a meeting, and a vote could be 2-1, or a vote could definitely be 3-2 or 3-1. So 3 people probably isn't enough to pass anything positively. So I think that would help dilute some of the risks. But I think I'm definitely considering I'm not considering the 7 people who I consider best for this. I'm considering 7 people who have a range of positions and interests, and a good balanced set of people.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Amanda, is that a new hand?
No, I'll put it down.
Would that language need to be made right now?
I don't think it needs to be made right now. No.
Done?
I do have a question. Can we actually exclude somebody from where they work from this public board? I mean, I think they should be, but I mean, can you actually exclude them because of the job from a public board?
I think the reason I brought it up is I could envision, say we have 5 members and 2 of them are from the resort.
Yeah.
I'm going to have trouble then telling the Girdwood representatives that or Girdwood public that they're being properly represented. So I took one look at this list and thought, well, that's in the realm of possible. And I think we should talk about that. So if we're doing 7 instead, that makes it easier. It still leaves open the possibility that a 1/3 of them are from the resort, roughly. So I just thought, let's talk about it, because again, we are telling Girdwood this is our representative body. So anyway.
Yep. No, me personally, I wouldn't want to see 2 of them on there unless they're ranked them, so.
Okay.
I kind of assume the board, or we could talk about it during this process.
Right, I kind of talk about it. before the vote, because I didn't want to be like, okay, now we voted on it, now I'm gonna object.
But we're gonna vote and then talk about it, right?
Right, yeah, let's do it. Let's, enough. Depending on the chair.
So you, just to go back to what you or both of you just said, you'd rather discuss that spot, let's say, after the vote or after the nominees?
I think what we're saying is, let's see how the vote turns out and then figure out if we have a.
Yeah, we are planning on discussing the nominees after we rank them, right? I mean,
I believe. I don't know. I think we really
or
discussed
is
it.
it fine, right?
But my thought was one seat at the table would be fair or appropriate, but in the last motion, what if that one selected isn't registered to vote here? Then does the other one bump up to that, even though they didn't get the votes? Maybe it doesn't matter right now, but that was my, let's talk about this.
The way I read this process is what we're doing is we're making recommendations. We come up with a list of 7 at the end of it, and then we say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's do it.
got it. Thanks, Mike. Okay. So in no particular order, please give Kyle or Margaret 7 names. And if everyone's ready, we can go ahead.
Let me start. Okay, Guy, I'm going to start with you. Who's your 7 names?
Aaron Ecker, Matt Schechter, Brett Wilbanks, Crystal Hogue, Dave Nyman, Tomas Netting, Brooke Lavender, with Tim Cabana as our alternate, good alternate. I didn't do them in order, I think,
Thomas.
that listed, so.
Yeah. Oh, you have the first names. What? Extra challenge.
All right, guys, so I'm going to repeat back to you. You got Aaron, Thomas, Matthew, Brooke, Brett, and then who else did you have?
Crystal,
Crystal,
Dave,
Dave.
Nyman.
Okay. Yep, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, we're good. All right, Jennifer.
Brett, Brooke, David, Crystal, Lisa, Matt, William.
Okay, so I'll go back again. Brett, Brooke, David, Crystal, Lisa, Matthew,
Sorry. Yes,
and then William.
yes.
Okay. All right.
I did say Crystal.
Yeah, I'm just working through it. Sorry. Okay, next, Mike.
Brett, Brooke, Tim, Aaron, or Crystal, Matthew, and Thomas.
Okay, Brett, Brooke, Tim, Aaron, Crystal, Matthew, and Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, Brianna.
Matt, Lisa, Crystal, Aaron, Tim, Brett.
Okay, William, Matthew, Lisa, Crystal, Aaron, Tim, Brett. Let's go with Amanda.
Tomas, Tim, Lisa, Brooke, Aaron, Crystal, William.
Okay, I'm not going to go in your order. I'm going to go from what's on the page here, but you can just confirm. We have Brooke, Tim, Aaron, Crystal, Lisa, Thomas, William.
Correct.
Something wrong there. Should I take your list?
Okay, just a second.
I think too many from Amanda. And she had.
Brooke, Tim, Aaron,
Mhm,
Crystal,
mhm,
Lisa,
mhm.
Thomas, William, Tomas.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with our top.
We have one hand up. Is that your hand up, Amanda?
Yeah, I just, I can wait till after this. I preemptive, sorry, I'll put it back down till.
Thank you,
Or-
sorry.
Yep.
Crystal, got a Crystal with 5 votes.
Mhm.
I got Matthew with 4. I've got Aaron with 4. I've got Brooke with 4. I've got Brett with 4. That's your top 5 right there. Top 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And then I've got 4 people at 3 votes. Tim at 3. Lisa at 3. Tomas at 3, and then William at 3. So I actually have 4 people. 3. So that needs to be figured out between those 4 as to who fills the last 2 seats. So I think you guys have to think about your top nominations for Tim, Lisa, Tomas, and William.
Maybe go for Amanda since her hand was up if it applies, and then I'll go to Jen. Amanda?
I was just gonna ask if we don't have 7 applicants who are registered to vote in Girdwood, would we just go with however many we do have? That was all.
You understand that, Mike?
I understand the question, but I think we probably have at least 9 on there who are registered to vote. 9 or 10. I think there's only 1 or 2 who may not be.
To answer your question, Amanda?
Yep.
Great. Thanks. Jennifer?
I see that we might, if we want the resort to have a seat, it looks like we have a choice between 2. Again, I think it's going to be a tough sell to put 2 of those names on the list. And the other thing though is I see if we originally sketched out like we're looking for a certain knowledge base. I think we just had a certain knowledge base drop off, and so out of our remainders, I know Lisa brings a background in what it's like to be a long-term tenant, although so does Brooke. There's also a little bit of a potential conflict there with her employment with the architecture firm, maybe kind of possibly. And I just want to pay attention to the fact that we've dropped off the environmental engineer. So right now we have nobody who's focused on what land can and can't do from an environmental perspective. And we have, which is a potential flaw in the process. So I just want to throw those 2 things out.
Thank you, Jennifer. And that doesn't mean that all the candidates cannot come to meetings or be very vocal at meetings, but I agree with their comment. Or contribute.
Question.
Guy?
Just, I'm not real familiar with Tomas or William from the resort, so, but Tomas looked like he'd been here a while and has kids, but I'm totally open for. I mean, they both look very qualified and, I agree with. I mean, I don't think two of them, but. I'm not dead set on my Tomas vote, but but I don't know the individuals. Not that I haven't seen them at meetings to 100,
Right, and Mike, did you have a comment?
I'll wait afterwards.
Okay. I also don't know everyone on the list, and I don't know Tomas and Willem equally. So it's hard to choose, but just on paper, basically right now. So my vote is hard to make for those two, but I'm thinking that our body would like to choose one of them based on what we've said so far. Hoping that that would be a compromise. Amanda.
I definitely think that at least one person from Alyeska would be helpful. And then I would also like to say that the having a local developer in the room would probably be beneficial, especially one that has gone through the permitting process really recently and is going to be working through that process of developing currently. And it might be confusing because Alyeska is too, but so is Tim Cabana. That's all.
Thank you, Amanda.
I was just going to suggest that perhaps for this round, what we do is look at those 4 names and suggest nominate 2 people each.
Anyone?
I would also, sorry.
Go ahead.
My second thing is I did pay attention to who was on the voter list at the last elections. And I think I see 10 of the names on there and 1 I do not. But I don't know what, sorry, I see 9 of the names on there and 2 I do not. But I don't want to prejudice people by naming them because I don't know what the current state is and I don't know what date we would consider the right date to be. Probably the date of probably the last Friday when we closed nominations.
Thanks, Mike. Amanda, is that a new hand or same hand? Just checking. Jennifer, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I was going to suggest if we're going to have a resort representative that we just decide on that seat separately, just to avoid again the possibility of having 2 out of the 7 being resort.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then to make those 2 suggestions, I think work out, we each give of those 4, 1 of the resort and then 1 of the other 2.
If we're agreed that we want.
I would disagree with that.
Okay.
I would like to have the freedom of voting for 0 or
Okay.
0 report senior managers.
Okay.
Right, there are 5 of us, so
Okay.
that balances out. Okay, so if everyone gives 2 names from that top list of 4, okay, we'll do that next.
Okay.
Any particular order?
Let's do this. You ready? Guy.
Tomas and Tim.
Jennifer?
I need 1 more moment. I'm sorry.
Okay. Mike?
Lisa and Tim.
Brianna?
Tim and Tomas.
Amanda?
Tim, Cabana, and Tomas.
And then Jennifer.
Tim and Lisa.
So then you have 5, you're all in agreement on Cabana. Tim?
Yep.
And 3 of you have gone for Tomas Medding.
Yep.
And 2 for Lisa. So she would be your alternate if somebody
Doesn't qualify.
dropped out.
So, just to summarize that, your nominations are Crystal, Matthew, Aaron, Brooke, Brett, Tim, Tomas. That's the 7.
Okay. Discussion then is not. What we. Okay, so moving forward,
I'll make a motion that we appoint those 7 members to the, whatever we're calling it, temporary housing economic stability advisory.
thank you, Mark.
Subject to evidentiary proof that they are registered voters in Girdwood.
Okay.
In the Girdwood service area.
Thank you, Mike. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I shall second that.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Any discussion on the motion? Or hearing no discussion, can we have a roll call vote?
Sure. Brianna Sullivan,
Yes.
Mike Edgington,
Yes.
Guy Wade,
Yes.
Jennifer Wingard,
Yes.
Amanda Sassy.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great, thank you, everyone. I'll go to public comment. The person offering public comment must state their full name and address. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person and must be on subjects not listed on the agenda. And seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
A second.
Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, we are adjourned.
20 minutes for regular meeting.
2 minutes.
Is that a record?
We'll take care of that tonight.